What are some common facts that people believe to be true even if the existing evidence states the contrary? Camels don't use their humps to store water. They use them to store fat reserves, because storing fat reserves around the body like humans would keep them too warm, so they have it all in one spot. Edit. Since the day metabolizes as water and CO2, it is in a way a water source. That is very interesting and I had no idea. Thank you. Myth. The pool is definitely clean, it has such a strong chlorine smell. Fact. A strong chlorine-like smell, like the kind you associate with public pools, is actually an indication that the water is not chemically balanced. It might even be a sign that the pool needs more chlorine. Source: https://chlorine.americanchemistry.com/science center/chlorine compound of the month library /chloramines understanding pool smell / Edit. Lots of people commenting about how this smell comes from pee, and yes, you're partly right. However, there's also ammonia in sweat, so it can contribute to the smell too. The source linked above actually explains chloramines and pool smell quite well if you'd like to understand this phenomenon better. My time to shine. I used to test pool water / hot tub water as a part-time job. This is what I learned from reading the material that the company gave me, but my advice always seemed to work, so I think it's pretty solid. There are two types of chlorine, free chlorine and combined chlorine. Free chlorine is generally odorless in the pool. It's the chlorine that can attack bacteria. Combined chlorine is chlorine that has already attacked some type of bacteria. It just stays in the pool and doesn't do much. That combined chlorine can make your pool smell like chlorine, or even make your pool cloudy. If a pool smells like chlorine, it has too much combined chlorine. To get rid of it, you need some type of oxidizer, like a calcium hypochlorite or something along those lines. So in other words, even if a pool smells horribly like chlorine, it can still be very unsanitary and unsafe to swim in. Cutting your facial hair makes it grow in thicker. I had a full-on argument with an individual who firmly believed that genetics played no possible role in hair growth whatsoever. I have never been more perplexed or angry in my entire life. Sincerely. Bald at 25. I'm a master esthetician and I've studied hair growth, and I can confirm, shaving / waxing / plucking does not make more hair grow thicker nor longer. The reason for this misconception is when you shave, it makes the tip of the hair blunt, so when that protrudes from the follicle, it appears to be thicker. The only change in hair texture / thickness / length / etc. occurs in the papillae, hair root, which is completely determined by hormones. Edit. Hey y'all. As much as I love talking about my field, I gotta turn in, but consider contacting a local esthetician for your skin / hair questions. A few people still believe that opening windows before a tornado to even the pressure will save their house from damage. Some also still believe trailer parks attract tornadoes and that random sacred landmarks can protect cities from tornadoes. The first part of that does have some merit though. Opening up all your windows will effectively reduce the total force being exerted on the walls from the outside winds, since some of that airflow is allowed to pass through the wall instead of acting upon it. However, considering how strong the winds are in a tornado and how small most windows are, the effect may as well be irrelevant. Opening your windows to reduce the damage from the winds of a tornado is probably about as effective as planting shrubbery to reduce the damage from an oncoming avalanche. LOL. Yeah, the standard answer is don't worry, the tornado will open them for you when the debris starts hitting the house. The dramatic pressure drop in the core of tornado would potentially cause issues in a house with no way to vent said pressure difference, but by the time it drops that low, usually the roof has been blown off or windows broken by debris long beforehand. Main danger in opening windows is if it delays the person opening them getting to shelter. They'll probably break anyway, but near a window is not a great place to be with a tornado bearing down. People still think an undercover cop has to tell you they're a cop. How does that even make sense? Months of preparations ruined on the first day because someone happened to ask the magic question. Cops are allowed to lie to you and they will pretend to be your friend to get what they need from you. Side note, even if you are innocent of a crime, the first words from your mouth should be "I want a lawyer." And you don't provide any information until you have one. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. To your side note, the first and only words should be "I want a lawyer." Always, no matter what they try to tell you. I've practiced law both as a defense attorney and a prosecutor, and I have never once seen a person successfully talk their way out of something after being read their rights. Even if you are innocent, you're going to be stressed and not thinking correctly. What you mean to say will likely not come out exactly right, especially after a few hours of questioning. You'll likely contradict yourself at some point without realizing it or even meaning to, or what you say can be taken completely out of context. Best advice, https://youtube.b/7zedgtm2s. Piggybacking off this, that girls were married off in their early teens in the medieval period. This is based off the nobility and royalty, who did marry off their young daughters as a political tool to secure alliances. However, even when the young royals were only 12 or 13 when wed, they were often married by proxy and married in name only. The married couple were often kept separate until either the girl came of age, aka got her first period to produce children, or were just deemed old enough to start living together in the same castle, which wasn't until around 17 to 20 years old. The vast majority, like the peasantry, weren't married until their early 20s. Women in the peasantry often did have a choice on who they got to marry, unlike their noble components who were used as bargaining chips. Edit to add, as a woman who got her first period at 13, I know that the average age a girl gets her period today is around 11 to 13 years old. Keyword being today. I am talking about the medieval times, which are roughly between 1000 to 1300s. Between 1000 to 800 years ago. As many others have already pointed out, the average age for a girl to get her first period would have been closer to around 15 to 16 years of age. Another edit to add, I am not an expert on this, nor have I paid as much attention to this as I have on medieval marriage age, but it is generally believed access to better nutrition from medieval Europe to today's Europe is causing the average age of girls menstruating to lower. There is also the belief that the artificial hormones and additives in food are messing with hormones, as well as artificial fragrances and dyes etc., not just for girls, boys as well. However, I haven't seen this belief outside of Dr. Ounce, so you can guess it isn't as credible as the nutrition belief.